Hello gamers, Squirrely here. Thanks for joining me as always. I have another interesting video for you guys, something that I was kind of getting flashback towards the good old days of TF2 trading and trade servers, and I don't know, it's kind of sad. I kind of miss the good old days, so I figured I would bring it up and give you guys a video on, for some of you who may not have been around as long as I have. But I haven't forgot about the other video ideas I'm working on. They're kind of on the back burner right now, which was the Rate My Loadouts videos, and then also the TF2 celebrities, or public icons, figures, talking about their loadouts and what makes them sort of unique and iconic and all that cool stuff. So they're still there. I just don't have enough time to do everything at once. And actually, I am kind of looking for someone who's a good video editor. You don't have to be ridiculously talented or good with Photoshop and SFM and video editing. But if you're decent, you're good. I am kind of maybe looking for someone to help out with that, just to help speed up the process and get content out faster. Because I just don't have enough time to, write, record, edit, upload, do the whole shebang. So anyways, today we're talking about SpyCrabbing and the evolution of SpyCrabbing. Has it died completely? Do people even know what it is anymore? A lot of people have probably heard of spy crabs, right? The endangered species. But I'm talking about the verb SpyCrabbing, the action of SpyCrabbing. So what is SpyCrabbing? Why was it popular? What's kind of the story with that? SpyCrabbing is basically gambling, and was super popular because it's a higher chance of winning, basically. Usually if you unbox right, you have like a 1% chance of unboxing something good or unusual, or 2% maybe. Well, SpyCrabbing is 50-50. So you're saying, me against you, you call someone out, it's like, it's a Pokemon battle. You say, me and you, buddy, let's SpyCrab, let's gamble what we got. And you kind of negotiate what you want to offer, which they want to offer, and you either match 10 keys for 10 keys, or my hat for your hat plus some items. You make it equal so it's worth both of your time, and then usually you do on a server like a well-known server that has active admins and people on there all the time. You don't want to have some random person middleman or a friend middleman. That's a good way to get scammed. You want to do it on a server you're familiar with, the admins, and you know that your stuff is safe. So both parties agree to battle, they agree to SpyCrab, they trade their items to the middleman, which is almost always an admin of a server, or some other figure that everyone trusts. He holds the items. Then basically SpyCrabbing is you go spy, you take out your disguise kit, and you taunt, and you do it at the same time, so each person will taunt. And if you do a SpyCrab, I forget the percentage or the odds of doing that. I don't remember if it's 10% or 20% or 50% even. I don't know. But if you do the SpyCrab taunt, when you do the little goofy little posture as a spy, that counts as 1. So you keep going together, SpyCrab, or taunting, and then basically whoever hits 3 SpyCrabs, adds up to 3 SpyCrabs, you lose. It's over. That's the game. The other guy gets all your stuff. So it's quick and easy. It's fun. It's basically, one of the most perfect ways to just get a random winner, right? It's not like unboxing where you don't really know the odds and it's like, oh man. SpyCrabbing, it's 50-50. It's kind of like me versus you, this battle, and you know the items and you know the odds, and it's a lot more exciting, basically. But back in the old days, some of the more popular trade servers, I'm not sure, I'm trying to think of some. PPN was one. PPM, I think, was Pyro. What was it? Pyro Protect Me, something like that. And then TF2 Trader was another one, where there'd be people on there that were like SpyCrab legends. They would go on there and just SpyCrab thousands of keys. They would SpyCrab earbuds and god tier hats, and they would just do this all the time. You would just jump on a trade server and there'd just be 2 dudes SpyCrabbing their whole backpack, no big deal. And then if they lost, they would trade up for a couple weeks and come back and do it again. It was unreal. So you got to see these kind of fantasy stories, these fairy tale stories of a dude who had $200 backpack, and a week he has a $3,000 backpack because he just got lucky SpyCrabbing a couple times. But it was just really exciting to be in these trade servers, and people were trading and talking and hanging out, and then there's always this big commotion going on. Everyone's looking up in the skybox, and these guys are SpyCrabbing huge amounts, and they would kind of build up the hype, and people would pick sides and kind of, pick your corner like you're in a ring or a boxing match and stuff. And it was just really fun. There's just always stuff like that going on in these big servers. And it just made trade servers more fun in general, because everyone wasn't just sitting there talking about random stuff, spamming binds to sell hats. They were actually doing stuff and getting involved, and there's drama, and some guy would come over from like another trade server who's like a big spy crabber, and he would challenge the other guy, the local guy, and it was just really cool times. The other thing that was pretty neat is that the middleman, like the admin or whoever, would usually get a tip. So that was how you could kind of tell how big the spy crab was, because if some guy just won like $3,000 of items, he would give the middleman, the admin, like a fat tip. Like, here's like a 50 key hat or a 20 key hat, or here's a vintage whatever, because he just won a huge portion, a huge prize. He's saying, thanks for kind of helping me out with this. So that was kind of funny to see. Some of the middlemen would, win a big spy crabber, like, oh, I'll help, because they know whoever wins, they're going to get a pretty big tip. So that was kind of interesting. But, it just built kind of this fun aura, like, especially on the evenings, on the weekends, these trade servers would just get packed. Everyone would jump in there and start unboxing. I mean, I remember being in service, and there's like 5, 6, 7 people just unboxing, just like for no reason all the time, especially during an update. Everyone was unboxing, like just more than half the servers unboxing like crazy. People are dropping items and giveaways and just spy crab. People are like waiting in line to spy crab and stuff. It was just a lot of energy, which was super fun. The other thing the servers would do, because they would get a lot of tips and stuff, and people would pay for premium and other things to get into a server, is they would do like just free spy crabs. Like the whole server was spy crab, so you get like 32 people, or 30 people plus 2 admins or something, whatever. And they would all line you up, and they would say, okay, we're going to do a free spy crab giveaway, and then, everyone would line up in a corner. They'd usually have like a part of the map, and then everyone would just taunt together, and you spy crab, you're out. Okay, and then, 30 people, now 25, now 20, now 10, and then you would get down to the last 2 people who survived, who haven't spy crabbed one time yet. Then they would kind of push him aside and have, a regular spy crab, which is, first to 3 loses. Sometimes people will try to trick you and say, oh, first to 3 wins. So make sure if you spy crab, you like get it in writing, let them type it out. Normal spy crab rules, right? First person to spy crab 3 times loses. That's how 99% of people have always done it. So don't let anyone tell you it's differently because you beat them or something. And it was just, back then it was very official. They would have admins, they would regulate it, they'd have people waiting in line, they'd have people like almost signing up like, hey, on Friday at 2 o'clock, admin, can you help me? I want to do a big spy crab with some guy. And they'd be like, okay, I'll be here at that time and we'll do it. And, you would have to type out your offer, they would screenshot it and get your Steam profile, and in case someone run from a spy crab basically means you lose, you just take off. But you can't really do that because you already traded your stuff to the admin. So that was kind of their way of buffering that. But yeah, I remember some of the old spy crab legends that would come on there. I'm trying to think of some names. I think Kieran was one who actually sold me one of my first God tier hats. I'm not sure. I don't think he's around much anymore. I think Satan was another big spy crabber back in the day, and there's 2 other guys, I cannot remember their names, but they would spy crab just like all the time. And I think the biggest, or the longest winning streak that I can recall, I remember being in a trade server, it was like in the UK or somewhere, and I was just there to kind of hang out because I would try to, jump around and see other servers and trade maps and stuff. And there was a guy in there that, he basically said that I think he was on like a 9 or 10 winning streak, and he was spy crabbing large amounts. Like I think his first one was an unusual, and then he just kept building and building and building. And so this guy in the server that, he comes in, he says, yeah, I'm on like this 9 winning streak, and he's like, yeah, BS, whatever. He's like, no, seriously, look at my backpack, because he remembered him from before, from like a week ago or whatever. He's like, dude, holy cow, you have a lot of nice stuff. He's like, yeah, I just got lucky. I've won every spy crab for the last week or 2 weeks or whatever it was. So the guy's like, okay, I'll play you right now. And he's like, okay. So they were just spy crabbing small amounts, and the guy was buying earbuds like on the spot from a friend. He'd buy them for PayPal. They're like $38-$40. And they were doing like 2 earbuds, 3 earbuds, and the guy won again and again. So the guy's like, okay, now I'm an 11 winning streak or 10 winning streak. I can't remember. But he beat the guy. No, he beat him at least a couple times. I remember. He beat him at least twice, maybe 3 times. And the guy was so pissed, like, you got to be shitting me, man. Like, seriously, like, you just don't win. You just don't lose. And the guy basically was saying, the guy on this win streak was saying, I'm going to get up to like 15 or whatever. I'm going to just gamble the whole thing and just see what happens. And then, I was like, wow, that's crazy. That doesn't happen anymore in TF2 and trading. These kind of crazy stories just aren't there. And, I can remember back to a time as well when I spy crab just friends, for small things. And I remember back when the Unknown Venom used to make TF2 videos. Actually, one of my first, I guess, YouTube friends, and we did a little collaboration. And he beat me, so I gambled him I don't know. I think I gave him some lime paint or some lime hats or something like that. So it was kind of fun. I think what else was there? I had a buddy that won a nice hat and just like a free spy crab. He won an unusual. I think once it was Arcana something. It was Arcana. Sniper hat. It was the first one to come out right when the update hit, so that was a couple years ago. I also have another buddy who I don't really see as much, but he's one of my very first friends on Steam. He kind of got me into TF2 trading, and I think he spy crabbed his entire backpack and lost, I think, at least 3 times. So he would build up, and it wasn't like $20,000, but he'd build up to a couple grand, 2, 3, 4 grand, spy crab it, go big, go for the glory, and he would lose. And I wouldn't really hear from him for a while. I lost my whole backpack again. And a month later, I'm like, oh, you've been trading up, and that's great. And then, I lost it all again. I'm like, dude, just stop. You know how to trade. Just make your profit. If you're going to spy crab, just do it for fun, with kind of items you don't care if you lose and whatnot. But I don't know. He kind of had this crazy, this urge, this addiction to just go big, and the thrill of just winning this huge amount, like winning the lotto. But, when you play the lotto, you spend $1 on a ticket. You don't spend a whole car for a ticket, and you lose your car if you don't win the lotto. So, the chance of winning are 50-50, but it's still just 100% luck. It's crazy. So, spy crabbing has come a long way. The only time I really see it now, once in a while in a trade server, I'll see that they'll have a plugin or something where you can type spy crab, and it'll kind of teleport 2 people to a room together, and then they'll spy crab. But, those are usually small ones. Oh, I'll spy crab a hat or a key or 2 keys or something like that, and usually there's an admin who's not really involved, but he's kind of just overwatching it. But usually they have rules if you're spy crabbing over 5 keys, then you need to get an admin involved, and so it's not really as exciting as it used to be. I guess the whole excitement and the spy crabbing legends have kind of died, but man, it was a really fun time to be around and trading in trade servers when spy crabbing was out, because you just knew in the back of your head, at any time, if you wanted to, you could jump in a server and just a guy would call you out, or you could challenge someone, or someone would unbox something and somebody be like, I'll spy crab you for that hat right now. And it's all this tension and drama, or some guy just bought his dream hat, and some guy would challenge him for his dream hat, and it was so much tension. But yeah, it's spy crabbing is just another unique thing of TF2 that makes it so kind of iconic and special. And if you're kind of newer to trading, you might not even know this ever existed. So I figured I would share it with you guys. So spy crabbing, yeah, it's a big part of our history. It might not be around as much, but I thought you guys would kind of like to hear about the good old times and the evolution of spy crabbing. And who knows, maybe spy crabbing will make a big comeback. I'm not really around on trade servers that much anymore, but maybe there are some trade servers out there that have big spy crabbing groups and people that do it all the time, and I just don't know about it. But I'm curious what you guys think. What do you think about spy crabbing? Have you ever done spy crabbing? Have you ever won? Have you ever lost? Do you have any friends or hear about any stories of people who won or lost? It's definitely something where, your TF2 life or career, could change overnight, right? You could go from this, free to play to, winning, and a week later, you're this, you got a couple grand in items, and it's just kind of the whole excitement and mystery of TF2. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Go out there and spy crab some stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Don't spy crab. It's crazy. Unless you can afford to lose it. But thanks for joining me as always. I will see you guys in game. And until then, have a good one.